What's up, everyone? I want to know what's stopping you from taking action on your big goals? Is there something you really want to do, but you're too afraid to take action? Today's broadcast is for you. I've got the one and only Jarvis Leverson here on the show. Say hello, Jarvis.
What's up, everyone?
Now, Jarvis Leverson and I have done several presentations together through this Accelerated Growth Club. You see the video playing here, the passion and the creativity, the excitement of the people. But today is all about a recent event that he held on how to take your imperfect best, how to take action when you're afraid or you don't know what to do. So many people stall out. And so we wanted to partner together and get you the information so you can take action even when you're afraid. Thank you so much for being here, Jarvis.
Thank you, Crystal. I'm so excited and looking forward to all the wonderful things we're going to create together.
Yeah, awesome. Now, Accelerated Growth Club, I kind of met you through this experience. I had the pleasure speaking on the stage and sharing my story. I had the pleasure of being able to co-host and help you present some of this and work the crowd. But you are the heart and soul of this. You have brought this to life. Tell us a little bit about what Accelerated Growth Club is, and then let's talk a little bit about this recent event.
Yeah. So AGC started off as based on the principle of, if you're familiar with Jim Rohn, I'm a huge Jim Rohn fan. One of his biggest principles is you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. And I went through kind of this growth period in my life where that principle rang so true to me. I saw how important your surroundings were. So I set on this path to create this environment to bring together good, high energy, high growth minded people where we could all learn from each other, leverage each other, and in essence, help accelerate each other's growth. You're so much more powerful when you assemble as a group and assemble as a team. So it started off kind of as just this meetup group of bringing together people to come learn tools, tips, tricks, hacks of how to get the most out of life and live up to your full potential. And it started off as just six people, like a 6-person meetup group, and then you can see this is one of our accelerated growth members here. Then it just ballooned up into we have hundreds of people that come to these meetings, and we bring in great guest speakers, and it's all centered around just a platform to bring together good energy people that can learn and grow from each other.
Yeah, this is so good. Now, seeing the transformation on people's face when they come to these events has been extraordinary because it's a free event, right? People
Yeah.
who come to these events are blown away by the value that you provide, not only in the actual experience and the pizzazz of the lights and the videos and the presenters and all that, but the content itself is transformational. And that's what got me hooked on Accelerated Growth Club and kept me coming back. Tell me though, it's not about what you get as an individual. What's your slogan? What is Accelerated Growth Club really about?
It's all about the community. Our tagline is #find your tribe. And when you're able to tap into a tribe, when you're able to tap into a community of like-minded people that's all headed in a direction, it will propel you so much further and faster into your greatness. So it's all about creating something, a movement, an energy, a community that you can immediately plug into, and then you just feel like you're at home. You kind of find your cheers. You walk in and everyone knows your name and everybody knows your goals and everyone's pushing and encouraging you and cheerleading for you. And that's what this is. This is a tribe of good energy, like-minded people that's going to help you explode to where you need to be.
Yeah, and guess what? If you're becoming like the five people you spend the most time with, it does not include your pets. Okay, so if that's
Yeah.
your drama baby mama or your badass boss, it doesn't matter. They're having an impact on you if that's who you're spending your most time with. So you need to be intentional about who you spend your time with, and that's why I'm very intentional about surrounding myself with growth-minded individuals. And that's what I got out of Accelerated Growth Club. Was it just tools and tips and tricks? Although it was very good content that I implemented, it was the people, the connections, the tribe, the influence that literally changed who I was. So if you're in San Diego region, you want a free event that's going to help you transform your life and get the most out of it, I want you to mark your calendars for Accelerated Growth Club. So give them the times and dates, and then let's talk about this last event.
They're on the first Monday. It's called Motivation Mondays. Every month, the first Monday of the month, down at the San Diego Central Library downtown. from 5 to 7 p.m. It's free parking. We always have local businesses that donate food and coffee and drinks. So there's really no excuse. Yeah, it's just come, have a good time, meet some cool people, and be edified by the word and message, and you'll walk away with a great experience and some new connections.
Oh, awesome. Now, by the end of this broadcast, we're going to give a shout out to some of those people who are bringing the food and the coffee and really giving the value to this free event. Again, free event, San Diego. If you're growth minded, you need to be there first Mondays. So hit up Jarvis Leverson. How can they reach out to you or get registered for the event?
So all of our events are posted on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Accelerated Growth Club. So you go to the Accelerated Growth Club page, you'll see all of our upcoming events, and you can register right there.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at this last event. Now, was it Jason Friedman, right? Let me go ahead. I'm going to share his image while you're talking, but tell me a little bit about him and what makes him so extraordinary.
Yeah, Jason has this extraordinary story. He was born with a disability. He has cerebral palsy, and he's one of those people that just doesn't let anything stop him in life. So something that would normally be what other people would look at as kind of a debilitating disease, he used that as a platform to push and accelerate his goals forward. So he's now an accomplished author, a public speaker, and like that sounds crazy. And he's got this, speech impediment. When you speak with him, he has a very notable speech impediment. And you would think that someone with a speech impediment, the last thing that they would want to do is become a public speaker. And so he's pushed past what otherwise would be looked at as an obstacle to go off and accomplish more than what most people would ever do. And so he's just this really vibrant soul, and this great testimony of nothing should stop you, no matter what it is, no matter what obstacle is in front of you. You shouldn't let that be an excuse to pursue what you need to pursue.
Oh man, this is so good. I actually got to meet Jason at the University Club in person, and just being around him is so uplifting and so inspiring. So actually talking with him reminded me that I actually had a severe speech impediment when I was a little girl. My name was Quitawawi from Potnogan, and I was 6 feet by the time I was 12, and I was pigeon-toed. So let me tell you, it was not an easy walk. And when I was a kid, I was so talkative. People would pay me to shut up, and now they pay me to speak. So it's when you find something about you that other people see as a flaw or an imperfection, or that you could use as an excuse to hold you back, but instead you lean into it and you embrace who you are. It's through that is when you discover the magic of life. It's when you discover what makes you unique in this world. And so that's what Jason did. He just reminded me of the little girl inside me who so badly wanted to be heard, and then making a life of doing public speakings and trainings has really been where I found my greatest joy. So now tell me, at the event itself, what was the big nuggets? We've got some entrepreneurs, some real estate agents here. Maybe they want to take action, or they want to, become an influencer. They want to grow their business, but they're afraid to take action. What's some of the stuff that Jason shared that maybe they could draw from?
Wow, it was so many nuggets, so many great key takeaways. One of the big eye-opening moments that he presented was, we all kind of live in this world of just fine, where we kind of convince ourselves that we're okay. I'm just fine. I'm okay where I'm at. Things around me are comfortable. I'm coasting. I'm just fine. And he was fed up with being just fine, and he wanted to be extraordinary. He wanted to break through the limits of just fine to living a life of purpose and fulfillment. And for him, that was getting out of that comfort zone and actually pushing forward and making that first step towards what he felt was his greatness. And so that was the first big aha, was that we all do kind of cocoon ourselves into this comfortable state of being just fine when we know that we're destined for much more. And so he kind of inspired people to take that, evaluate themselves in that situation. See, are they being comfortable, or are they actually moving and progressing towards the person that they need to be? The other big one was this idea of embracing the imperfect best, and which is that first step. And that, we kind of cling on to this concept of it has to be perfect. We create these milestones and these, measurements of when you'll be ready. Like, the conditions aren't right now, but when I get here, then I'll move forward. Or, I need to, learn a little bit more, or, the time needs to be just right, or I need to make a little bit more money. Then I'll be ready. And so we create these imaginary milestones, and we're waiting for the perfect conditions before we do anything. And so he challenged us that don't try to wait for everything to be perfect, because it never will be. Understand that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. Make that imperfect step, that first step. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to do something, and that starts to build some momentum, and then over time that propels you forward. And so he wanted us to strip away this notion of perfection, of holding on and clinging on to this idea that all the conditions have to be right. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. You just got to do something. You just got to make that first step. And then from when you get there, you take the next step, and then you take the next step. And then over time, pretty soon you'll look up and you're right there at your goal.
Wow, this is so good. I mean, so many people who are watching this broadcast are entrepreneurs, real estate agents who want to be able to leverage live video. And so often I hear time and time and time and time and time again is that, oh, I'm a perfectionist, right? I'm not going to go live until the lighting is just right, or until my hair is just right, or until I have $5,000 in equipment, or until I have 10,000 followers, whatever their until is. But this is something I've learned firsthand, and I've seen actual research to support it. And that is that perfectionism is actually a form of insecurity. So people, if you're out there and you're claiming to be a perfectionist, or saying that it's just not the right time, or once these things happen, or when I'm old enough, or when I'm all these things, they're actually just excuses where you're trying to keep yourself comfortable and protect yourself. Right. So if you strip away these excuses, but you have a clear goal and you take one action today, that's what Jason Friedman is encouraging you to do, is take your imperfect best next step. And you don't have to be Oprah Winfrey to have a TV show. Look, I got a TV show. Jarvis and I, we got a Crystal and Jarvis show. Look at this. So you can do it right now. But in order to do it, you need to take action. So if you're afraid, or if you're worried, it's time to take the next step. If you have a clear, compelling vision, you can find an easy next step. And that's what this is. So my question to you is what Jason's question was, which is, what imperfect step can you take towards the thing you want to do today? Right?
And if I can piggyback on that,
Please.
For me, how this applied to my life is, 2 years ago, I had this grand ambition. I had this message and the seed that was planted in me that I wanted to have an impact on the world. And I wanted to get out, great encouragement and motivation and inspiration to people. And I wanted to use video and Instagram and kind of build a following that way. But I was I put up all these, barriers and excuses. Oh, I need the camera. I don't have the camera equipment. Or, oh, I need all this fancy software. And now I need to go learn how to do all these editing tools. I can't do anything yet until I learn all these tools. And I kept creating these moving milestones. And in a year and a half, it went by, and I had never put out one video. And I met this guy, and he had this big following online, and he was putting out all these really cool content, all this cool content. And so I'm sitting here and I'm grilling him, and I'm expecting him, I'm asking him about all his processes and how he does all the stuff he does. And I'm expecting all these really deep, profound answers. And I'm expecting him to give me a laundry list of equipment to go buy and classes to take and all this stuff. And he looks at us and says, "So what are you doing, man? Like, what type of camera do you have? What's your lighting setup like? What studio do you use? And what's your software?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Wait a minute, Jarvis, slow down." He's like, I don't have any of that." He's like, all I have is my phone. And it just really, he spoke this deep wisdom over me. He said, "Jarvis, look, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. You don't need any of that stuff. All you need to do is just use what you have. You already have everything you need to take your first step." And that was the most profound thing I had ever heard. And I went home that day and I put my first video up online. That was a year and a half ago. And that is what started me on this whole morning hero journey. And everything I do now all started with that one conversation, that you have everything you need right now. to take their first step. You don't need all this other stuff. And that's essentially what the power of what Jason's message is that it doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't need, a big studio and a big cinematic camera. I had everything I needed to put me on my path. And I think that's a message that a lot of people, they cling to this idea is that first step has to be the perfect one. And it's not, it never will be, but it does have to be a step.
Yeah, one of the things I've said time and time again is action is easy when you know what to do. And guess what? You don't know what you're going to do in the end. You don't know what it looks like or how to be or how to act when you're going to be this major influencer, right? And that vision you had for yourself is a bit removed from you. But what you do know how to do is pull out your cell phone and press go live, right? And guess what? Your first video is going to be different than your second video, is going to be different than your third video, is going to be different than your 30th video. I can look back at my videos when I first got started and I have to chuckle, it's like, it's an evolution, especially if you're looking to leverage live video as a way to share your business. Don't stop before you start because you're not who you want to be. Step into who you want to be one video at a time. And yes, you have everything you need in your cell phone. So it's such an inspiration, Jarvis. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and the example that he used was, what put him on his path is that, here he was, really getting down on himself. He had life had thrown every obstacle and gave, kind of dealt him a bad hand. And he's sitting there feeling sorry for himself at his home. And, someone told him, encouraged him, hey, you should go out and try yoga. Get out of the house and go try yoga. Maybe that'll help get you into a better mindset. And he has a disability. It's can be a challenge for him to walk and to talk. He has cerebral palsy. And he said, I can barely walk. What makes you think I can do yoga? And he's like, well, you know what? Let me at least go down to the YMCA and get a $35 membership. He's like, at least I can do that. I'll just go. And what's the harm in getting this membership? Maybe I'll go once a month. Maybe I'll go once, every other week, but I should at least get a membership. And that first step turned into him going a couple times a month, then turned to him going every day, to now he's a certified yoga instructor and teaches yoga classes. So this person with this debilitating, condition now coaches and teaches other people in this very artful craft stability yoga practice. And if he was to think about that whole journey and try to map it out, he would have never taken that first step. And that's what I think a lot of people, they're thinking too far ahead. They're thinking about steps X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, well, there's no way I can do all this stuff. What about step X, Y, and Z? And they're completely missing the point that you don't worry about all that. All you do right now is look at step A. And what does step A look like? And then when you get there, then look at step B. And then when you get to step B, then look at step C. But most people, step X, Y, and Z prevents them from even taking step A. And for him, if he had to try to map out his whole journey of becoming a yoga instructor, he would have never done it. But his first step was just to get a $35 membership. And that kicked off a series of events. That was the first domino that led to a series of events of him stepping into this greatness that he's in now.
Yeah, this is so good, right? Again, for the people who are out there and want to use live video and want to get seen on social media, look at what Jason Friedman did and do this with your videos. The number one tip I have for you, if you want to get seen on social media using live video, the number one tip is schedule it. Just schedule it. That itself is going to get you moving forward. That can be your imperfect best next step, right? But maybe your goal is you want to have somebody sitting next to you. If you interview somebody, that is going to make it easier for you. Look, Jarvis and I are interviewing each other. We're creating content for both of us, right? So it's a moment where you can share that. So if maybe your next imperfect best is to get somebody to agree to go on camera with you, or maybe your next imperfect best is you're just going to shoot a 30-second video, not even a live, just on your camera, your basic cell phone, go in the bathroom and do your basic intro of, hey, you guys, I'm Crystal Lindsey, and today we're going to learn just 30 seconds. And then here's the kicker, watch it on mute. That's how 86% of people on Facebook are going to watch you anyways. So you got to be dynamic. You got to come into the camera. You got to do what it is. But pick your next imperfect step. Again, I'm giving a lot of examples around live video today, but if your goal is to become a yoga instructor, like I want to eventually, do yoga today for 12 minutes. That's not a big ask. That's an imperfect best, right? If you want to get in shape, take a walk around the block. If you want to be happy, go smell a flower. Whatever that thing is, smelling one flower, is that going to make you happy for the rest of your life? No, but is it going to catapult you into the next step and the next step and the next step? That's what Jarvis is talking about here. So I love this. You had a slide from the presentation. I'm going to put this up so we could talk a little bit about it right here as we're kind of landing the plane, so to speak. But one day I'm going to, right? What does this mean? And bring it back to that event for our entrepreneurs and real estate agents who are watching.
Yeah, I think we all have this, we have this seed that's been planted in us. We've got this goal, this dream, this vision, but it's been laying dormant. And it's, one day I'm going to do this thing, the X. One day I'm going to write a book. Or one day I'm going to create an app. One day I'm going to have a website, or one day I'm going to have a YouTube channel. Or one day this and that is going to happen. And we create these barriers or these, reasons or excuses of why today isn't that day. And it's all, I'm just not quite ready yet. Maybe the time isn't right. All the stars haven't aligned. I don't have everything I need, or I don't know enough. I'm not adequate or built up enough in that category yet. I need to take some classes. I need to get some equipment or what have you. We come up with every excuse in the world of why today isn't that day. And I wanted to challenge people to think about, what is that for them? What is that seed that's been laying dormant, waiting for these perfect conditions to happen before you take action? And I think this rings true. A lot of us have something laying dormant that's just collecting dust.
Yeah, absolutely. And so again, this is right from the last event, and really getting clear on what you can do right now. I'm putting up the big question of the day here, right? This is from Jarvis Leverson and Jason Friedman at Accelerated Growth Club, and they want to know, what is something you want to do? Something you want to do in the bottom of your heart, and you're called to, but you haven't done it yet. Think about that for a moment. And then ask yourself, what's stopping you? Because what I'm hearing from this, Jarvis, is what's stopping people is themselves, is the
That's right.
fear of perfection, is the fear of what other people will think, is the fear of being uncomfortable, is the fear of financial, of having $5,000 in equipment, or being the best, or having a following, or fear. And they feel like this is supposed to be a certain way in this perfect scenario before people can take action. But what's stopping you is yourself. So let that sink in. If you're out there and you've got something on your heart that you're put on this earth to do, you are the only one who's stopping you. And the way you overcome that and taking action when you're afraid is to take your imperfect best step. That is the best thing you can do right now to get you closer to that goal. And it doesn't have to get you there. It has to get you on track and build momentum. That's what matters.
That's right.
Awesome. So now tell me, I know we're kind of coming to the end of this topic here, and hopefully if you're watching this, you got something out of it. You're about to take action. You're going to leave here and you're going to say, today is the day. I know this is on my heart and I'm going to start. I want to just say, special shout out, not only to this go and host these events at the Accelerated Growth Club and present them as well, but he also has a morning accountability call, and through his call I was able to transform my life and start my book. I'd been talking about it for years that I wanted to write a book, but it wasn't until I started his accountability program. And now I have a 152-page manuscript that I'm working with publishers to get published. So my imperfect best was 30 minutes a day. I just worked on that book 30 minutes a day. And now here I am. It's only been about 6-8 months and I'm ready to get started. So again, with that, I want to just give a special shout out for the next event, hoping that today you're going to do your imperfect best as well. Make sure you mark your calendars for August 5th. Brandon is going to be there, and he's a connection relationship expert, and your connections are the key. So if you want to improve your life, improve your connections, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So make sure you mark your calendars so we can see you there. With that, I'm going to sign off for Jarvis, but I want to say thank you for watching. I wish you the absolute best. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to get started, especially using live video. People are craving authentic content. They want to be able to see the real side of you. So don't stage it so it's so perfect before you can get started. Show up as who you are, and people will show up for you. So make sure you take your best next step as well. So with that, Jarvis, what do you want to say as we're signing off here?
Just live your imperfect best. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. Move forward. Come to the next Accelerated Growth Club, August 5th. We'll be down there at the San Diego Central Library. Brandon Brujo is going to talk about how to leverage your connections. Everyone's got you in your address book. You have access to every answer you need, every resource you need to move forward and to propel you into in just about any area. But we don't do a good enough job of expanding our network and then truly leveraging our connections. How do you become a connection king? Your connections will carry you if you do it right. Brandon's got some great strategies on how to really expand your connections and how to leverage them to help you on your path and accomplish all your goals. So there's that. Come down to the Growth Club, Accelerated Growth Club. I'll be there, and we'll help usher you into your greatness. And I dropped off a little bit, so my Zoom link had some difficulties. But I think just as I was dropping off, you were mentioning the Morning Hero program.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is if you know, kind of the thing that really, really kicks people in high gear is accountability. It's what takes good intentions and turns it into actions. Everyone has these grand things that they want to do. Very few people actually do them. And the one thing that takes what you want to do and turns it into what you will do or you did do is accountability. So that's where the Morning Hero program comes in. It's an accountability program that I created where every morning people kind of profess the top 3 things they need to accomplish, and then we hold each other accountable to actually moving things forward. So this is similar to Jason Freeman talks about. How do you take that next step? How do you turn intention into action? The best thing you could do is join an accountability group. And so I've got an accountability group, and we push our goals forward every day, and we accomplish them every day. And so if you're interested in increasing your level of accountability to increase your output in life, Jarvis at themorninghero.com. Just shoot me a quick email, and then I can send you some information about the accountability program.
Awesome. I'm going to put it right here in the comments as we speak. Awesome. And then last thing, if you're out there and you're like, look, dude, I want to take action. I do, but I don't know what my imperfect best is, and I'm not available for that date, or I am, and I want something to do before then. Tell them about Sunrise Saturdays.
Sunrise Saturdays, every Saturday we meet. I truly think that in order to be your best, you have to look your best. You have to feel your best. You have to be in your best shape to really set off and accomplish. So I think fitness is kind of a starting point of momentum in every area of your life. So I really, really put a high bar on making sure that you stay active and healthy and wholesome. And so every Saturday we meet at the convention center downtown. They call them the stairs of death. The stairs that lead to the rooftop of the convention center. We go and we do a really, really brutal workout every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Call them Sunrise Saturdays. Come start your weekend off right with something healthy, wholesome, and fun. Meet some cool people while you're at it.
Awesome. Well, I have to say, I'm going to put up the little thing so they can see the look of it. But I've been going to Sunrise Saturdays for about a year. I guess it's been a year. It was like last November we kicked it off. So we're coming into a year, and I am 25 pounds lighter. So doing a couple of walks a week and a yoga once or twice a week, and this Sunrise Saturday, I lost 25 pounds, folks. And I'm telling you, when you look good in your body and you feel good in your body, nothing can stop you. So find your tribe, hit up the Accelerated Growth Club, mark your calendars. That's August 5th. I want you to also show up for Sunrise Saturdays, and they do more than just run the stairs, folks. Don't worry. He says the stairs of death. It's a little intimidating, but they do. He has a trainer out there. Special shout out to Josh, the trainer. And you're going to have a real incredible workout with a real trainer, and Jarvis leading the show, and some good music too. It's going to be some good people. And then I want you to reach out to Jarvis at the Morning Hero to get access to this morning accountability program that, again, has helped me write 152-page book. I talked about this for decades about how I wanted to write books. I never wrote a page, but 30 minutes a day was my imperfect best, and I was held accountable through his program. So you got 3 ways right there to take your imperfect best and take your next step. So hopefully you got some motivation off of this. I do want to say special shout out to some of your sponsors for the event. The San Diego Public Library is of course hosting the space. The Morning Hero is the accountability program from that Jarvis was talking about. You've got to learn out more about that. And then of course, special shout out to the food and the beverages that are coming out and representing, and Anna Schmidt from the photography. So again, we'll tag you down in the comments below, but we so appreciate you making these events really top tier events. Again, free events in San Diego for growth-minded folks. It's a no-brainer. Mark your calendar. Anything as we're signing off, Jarvis?
Yeah, appreciate this platform that you created and the light that you shine so vibrantly. This is, you know, a lot of people don't move on their actions, and I just love your tenacity to go off and inspire the world to take their life into their own hands and take charge. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm looking forward to doing this again next week. We go off and inspire some more people.
Yeah, mark your calendars. Next Thursday, 1:30 Pacific Central Standard. We're going to see you there. Again, I'm Crystal Lindsey, and you're Jarvis Leverson, and together it's the Crystal and Jarvis Show. So mark your calendar. You don't want to miss this. So we'll see you next week, and until then, make sure you go live and go live often. Ciao, ciao, you guys.